there. Welcome back to another episode with Answers with Andy. Minus Andy here. He's not with me today. I want to take a moment and actually do a little bit of a special video. Got a pretty interesting lineup for you guys here on this video. We're actually going to be doing an unboxing, but also a little look at some of the things I've been able to acquire in the short time that I've been starting to collect antique memorabilia concerning ventriloquism. Ever since getting Andy last June, I have really just been going full steam ahead on this ventriloquism ministry that I'm doing. So with that has come the acquiring of some new items, but some items that I've really enjoyed having, things that have actually helped me. And so I hope to share that with you guys today. So hope you enjoy this, and let's dive right in. Okay, so today we might be doing a little bit of camera maneuver with you, so y'all hang on tight. But wanted to just go through a couple of things real quick. I have laid out here where you cannot see a bunch of my things, but what I want to do first thing first, no clickbait, wait till the very end. We're going to get right into the unboxing. So I have this with me. Ooh, mysterious packaging. This actually I saw, give a little bit of history while I'm opening this. The history of the actual, me buying it. The history of the item we'll get into in a minute. But it's funny, this item I saw come available on eBay. And sometimes what I like to do is I like to watch items, or what I'll do is I will just put a small bid. Well, that's what happened with this item. I put like a 50 cents increase on the starting bid, on the first bid that was listed. And I was like, okay, all right, well, when this moves, then I'll know. Well, I won it. So I get a notification that it's on its way, and I said, what was that again? So today we're all going to get to see it together for the first time. But on that piece right there. Just gotta carefully. There we go. There we go. All right. Very nice. You'll understand why I'm trying to be a little bit more careful with this, as opposed that if I would have just gotten something in the mail, like a book or something, or maybe some clothes, just rip into it. I'm just trying to... There we go. There we go. Let's see, what's that? Cardboard. We have another package in here. All right. So the big reveal. Be careful. So here's an envelope. Okay. An envelope from Chase and Sanborn. Okay. In New York, to a individual. But you'll notice this looks pretty old. So what's inside? Well, what we have here is the original envelope that Charlie McCarthy cardboard cutout was sent in. This is a near mint condition of this cutout character. I am actually just going to leave it exactly how it is, because I don't want to even put a crease in this. But it would sit on a counter, and you could display it like on the edge of a shelf. But most people, what they do is that they'll either extend this out like this, and they'll frame it. I've seen them frame it mostly like this, because that's the original fold. But is that not just like the coolest thing ever? I absolutely love this. This is so cool. And the whatever original price tag they had on this, from whatever auction or antique store this originally came from, it definitely was. Oh, is that how it works? I don't know. I'm not gonna mess with it. But yeah, you can see. Here's the back of it. The back of it looks like. I just think that's so cool to have something like that in my collection. I don't really have a lot of vintage antique things, like items, advertising pieces like this. And why not get a piece of advertising piece of the legend himself? So I thought that was really cool. Sorry if that wasn't in frame.
Oh, Bergen, what are you doing? Yes, Bergen, yes.
All right. That was a horrible Charlie impression. So we're going to carefully place him right here. I eventually will probably frame him. Get him framed in the original packaging that he came in. So we'll keep him like that. That's how he was inside. And there we go. Very cool stuff. Oh. And we'll have a couple little show and tell at this time. All right, so for the show and tell segment of this episode, I wanted to just talk about a couple of my favorite things. I'm going to grab the phone here in a second, my little camera. I'm going to go through a couple items, so I'm going to get those ready real quick. I did want to mention that in the unboxing section, I forgot to show, this also came in the mail at the same time as my Charlie. This was not one of those bidding and forgetting. I actually wanted this for my collection. I've been collecting a lot of the books. So I got the Ventriloquism in a nutshell. In fact, I really wanted this book to have a concise, consistent little 10 lesson. I really like this book, but actually I have started to go through the mayor's course. Friends of mine who went to the convention with me, we have all decided to go through and take the original mayor's course from the 70s. I know there were some iterations that went through decades, but we're going through that one. And so it's been really cool to see all the things that they teach you in there. But let's just go through some of the stuff, shall we? So I wanted to show that quick before I forgot that last unboxing bit. Adding to the collection. So, all right, time to grab the camera. Okay, so without showing my messy house, let me see if I can get this to show better. All right, so all that trash there. So, as you can see, I keep this metal box. This is where I just keep most of the stuff that I've collected. And I got all of them out to show you guys. I've got them divided with gospel routines. So these are all these right here. I've got all different numbers. So this is number 35. And it just goes down the list. This is something cool I got from an auction off eBay. Little buttons. Love this one. I love Sunday school. I know, dummy. So those are cool. So these are, I've separated them as gospel routines. And then I'm going to put this one down here. We'll go look at that in a second. And then these are some more gospel routines up here. These are dialogues. All kind of different dialogues. We've got Bible Truths. Dialogues, that's volume 1, volume 2. Tell Me the Story, volume 1, volume 2. Educational and Divine Comedy. In the pulpit, it's more of an educational one, not extra routines. This, though, I do want to talk about this one right here. This actually, it's funny enough, this was the first book I got in 2008. My mom acquired this book for me to learn some routines for some Bible clubs. And so with my little pull string dummy, see if I can find the story that I ended up learning. Or the one that I attempted to learn. Oh, yep, there it is. All right, so there's all the ones in this one. And I did the prodigal son. I love the story of the prodigal son. That's one of my favorite parables. It's a favorite song of mine. But, so here's a free routine for everybody. If you don't have this book, I'll let you hold it so where you can take a look at that and pause the video, write that down, take a screenshot. All right, cool. So that I love that book. So honestly, I remembered after getting Andy, and I remembered like, oh, I had that book. I mean, I wonder how many other books are out there just like that. That would be really cool to get. And so then my journey started with finding as many possible books, dialogue books, routines that I could find. And the problem is, this is cool. I got that because I have the magic board, and I was like, oh, at least one routine from a magic board. So I was like, they don't. These guys aren't around anymore. So how can I get some other routines out there? It's hard to get those out there. So maybe one day someone will start republishing some of these, and I'm sure there's digital versions out there. But yeah, small collection, not a lot. I'd love to take time and go through each and every one of those. I mean, you guys can let me know if you'd like to hear a couple. Like I can get Andy out and do a couple of the one-liners from here. We got ones for jokes for the family, ones on the job, ones about school. That's Bill Boley's letters to Freddie. But those are all great little routines. Love all those. This is a pretty good one. That's a really good book. Ventriloquist Magic. If you're a magician and you want to do any kind of magic, a lot of these, if you've ever been to the Vin Haven, sometimes they talk about these, but it even has patents how to build certain props to pull it off. All kinds of, and it's just ideas. It's just like, hey, you thought about using this? Have you thought about using this? Have you thought about using this? That one right there. I'm working on doing this routine because I think that's a great lesson one. That's all great. So yeah, that's just one of the other ones. But anyway, so I want to talk about this section here. But what we'll do is I'll replace the camera back into position, and we'll get into that real quick. All right, so now we're back in our normal, regular scheduled position. So one thing you probably saw on the show and tell section were these awesome stickers by Mayor Studios that you're supposed to put on your trunk. I don't know how the stick is actually held up, so all of these, I'm planning on putting them on this door right here because that's their home. That's where they live. Putting on one of these or that. I love these. Found these on eBay, and the guy is still selling some more. So pick you some up if you want to get some old stickers. Sure, why not just show this real quick. Like my shirt that I'm wearing, Manhattan Museum. This is one of the designs they had for this year at the convention. I love this because these is my favorite control setup with the eyes in the middle on a ball on a brass stem, brass rod. Index finger. I know purists out there, you want your thumb. I'm sorry, the muscle in your thumb was not meant for that. I mean, maybe if it was doing like this, right? Okay, left-handed index. You can go like that. You can come down on it. But this motion, look at that. What is this? Anyway, that's another debate for another time. I picked up a cool little ornament for Vent Haven this year for Christmas. Let me look at this real quick. Show you these. I don't know of a lot of people that show these off. It's really cool to see these kind of things. Here's a catalog from the Mayor's Studios. This is one of the most prolific ventriloquist studios of the modern century. They really spawned, and they really equipped, well, this generation that's now fading out, but the generation before us, with ventriloquist material that you saw all those books with dummies, ventriloquial figures. And there just hasn't been anyone like him since. And unfortunately, after Mr. Detweiler's passing, and the studio, he closed it off in, I believe, it's 2006, I believe, maybe, but went down from there. But in its heyday, man, this thing was a powerhouse. It was an empire. But I just want to show a quick little couple things in here. Thought this was cool. Check it out. So, the decals I just showed you, there they are, right there in this catalog. See how much they were. Wow, I could have gotten all 17 for $5. I did not pay that for those. I paid much more. There's this page, how to order, Lucky Duck. Routine books. Ventral Magic. That book is right here, listed in this catalog. Well, another reason why I wanted to get this catalog. The NAAV books. All the gospel routines. Right here, right here, right here. All of these that I acquired, I just wanted to get them as much, just many as I could. There's all kinds of other things, and then we've got some of the novelty celebrity dolls that they had upgraded. They were pretty well known for doing that. And oh yeah, check this out. Oh, I totally forgot that this was in here. So these are handwritten, I believe. So a letter from Clinton Detweiler. Please see the center page of this catalog for information on the 30 lesson course, the one I'm doing. There is also a special reduced price available for 30 days. Note our new mailing address, please. So here we go, right here in the center fold. I want you to take a look at this. We've got, this is the entire course available in the catalog. And it includes the 30 lessons, the membership, which actually, that reminds me, I'm going to pull something out that I actually acquired. It was part of one of these acquisitions. Membership, the NAV, that stands for, by the way, for those of you who don't understand what I'm saying, NAAV, that is the North American Association of Ventriloquism. An exam evaluation program, graduation certificate, news event subscription, Ventral aid with instructions, listen and learn by cassette, and ventriloquist dialogues. And then a picture of that dummy here in the bottom left was built by somebody who followed the instructions from the course. Pretty cool stuff. So here's a page. You build your own right here. We got our studio out in California. They'll build them for you, which is actually where Andy was built by Craig Lovick. Custom cases, bunch of more stickers, some figures, some puppet figures. Trying to see if they had any more hard puppets listed in here. This one just got primarily a bunch of puppets and animals. Puppets and animals, puppets and animals. Yeah, I think at this point of the studio's history, I think they had started to switch from their studio, the workshop, out west. The ones that you see here, early 70s model. This is late 70s going into the 80s. These, in the picture, these holding, those are Madeline Mayer. So Fred Mayer of Mayer Studios, the man who started it, who had Skinny Dugan. His wife was the one who carved these figures, and Clinton Detweiler later then built the mechanics inside of them. And they used those up until the very last one that was built. Is actually in the museum. I might show that picture of this one right now. Have this come over here. Or come over here, whichever one I have more room. Probably right here. This was the last figure that Clinton Detweiler actually made, and he performed with it, he had it, but that was the last one. It's not the last one the studio made, or that they ever sold, but it was the last one the Mayer's studio made, the last Madeline Mayer figure. That's right here. That's what it says on the thing, and I can enhance that image. So that's pretty cool. Make sure there's anything else in here. Nope. This right here I acquired. I thought this was super awesome. So here is a brochure of a catalog for the mayor's workshop out in California. This is from '79, so it would have accompanied that um, catalog. So this is what I want you to check out. This is the entire thing. What I loved about this, because I'm really struggling to find the true pinpoint history of Andy. I'd really love to get some history and figure out exactly the date he was made. We're still digging, but I know it had to be around this time period before the switch over into the later '80s with the knee pals and all those with those more modern controls. Because I saw this and I was like, oh my goodness, these is the exact layout of Andy's controls. So if you ever want to know what Andy looks like under the hood, that right there is the exact layout of his controls. So index control, his eyes are on this like a pulley system. So there's right, it comes down, it's left. You're pulling it towards you, pushing it away from you. It's not the common. And then you have the winkers, the raising the eyebrows, just like that. I mean, it's the exact same. Here's something that's really, really, really cool. So Andy will soon be taking a trip here in about 2 months, and he will be having these upgrades put on him. So when I got this, I was like, man, could you imagine if somebody got all of these features added back when they wanted to order it? It's like, wouldn't that be so cool? So back then they had stick out tongue, winkers, side to side, eye movement, raising eyebrows, and a spitter. So I was like, okay, I don't want stick out tongue and a spitter. Stick out tongue would be pretty cool, but what I really wanted was this right here, body movements. I think that's incredibly unique, more unique than this. I think these are rarer to find as the full body motions. So I've seen a Lovick figure with the nudger, the handshaker, and the leg crossing on both. So it's got a kicker and a leg crosser. So one is just a shorter, so it can just kick out, and then one's really tall where you have a lot of leverage and it pushes down and it goes over. So that is very cool. And that's it. There's that is not Craig Lovick. That is somebody giving someone it's Alan George. He uses, and that's a Craig Lovick figure with a living mouth. So very cool stuff. Very, very, very cool stuff. What else do I want to show you guys? Here is some things that can be cut out and used and reprinted as being a member of the NAAV. I acquired these, another copy. These came with an actual certificate that I got, and funny enough, this came with a license plate cover, a metal license plate cover that says NAAV at top, Ventriloquist at the bottom. Thought it was super cool. It's on my car, of course. So I really, really, really like that. And I think the last thing to wrap this all up, actually I want to, before we close, I want to show the last two items here. I've got this book, You Can Be a Ventriloquist by Robert H. Hill. Funny enough, this was actually produced and printed by the Moody Press. I thought that was really interesting. So it's a complete manual of gospel ventriloquism. In here, in fact, you basically go through, what we all know, but it takes a huge section. So let me see if I can find out where, okay, so a gospel ventriloquism preliminary consideration. So it gets into all this, and then got some routines. Man, look at this part. Step by step, just like the course does, but this entire instructions on how to build your very own ventriloquist figure, to the stick, to the body measurements, to all of that. Every little bit of thing is included in here. The materials to get. So I thought that was really cool. Just another one of the books to have in the collection. Um, and I thought that was really cool. So, before we close off, I hope a lot of you guys were able to catch my previous video with a small slideshow of the Vent Haven convention that me and my dear friends were able to go to this year. We cannot wait to go back next year. And in that video, I have a bonus section where I get to have my hands on David Pendleton's McElroy figure. I get to operate it and control it for a couple of minutes. And I was so honored, so blown away. And I've just been mesmerized ever since. And I think everyone who's ever seen a McElroy, or anyone who's ever even had the chance of holding one and operating one, will be completely hooked. I myself am definitely completely hooked. As the coolest operating dummy I've ever held. Coolest thing, I will have a life goal to eventually have one of those. Maybe not an original one, but have one commissioned to make one. But I need a lot more money for that. Anyway, so as I was going around, and I remember talking with David about, and he was giving us the history of this figure, of his figure. Mac Elroy is what the name of his figure is called. And he's giving us the history of where he came from, how he acquired it, and who used him before. So I was on eBay one day looking for, like I do, just knickknacks, ventriloquist stuff, and I see this, a postcard from, and I don't know how well that's, let's see. It's probably not shining too bad. So I'm going to hold that pretty close. Get you a good look at that. So this was in cooperation with your friendly Ford dealership. So this is, you know, I'm guessing by that look that's probably a late to mid 50s Ford. And right here it says, "Stay on the safe side. Your friend Jerry McSafety." This is David Pendleton's McElroy figure. That is him. No, not just, oh, it's a McElroy figure. That figure on this postcard has been in my hands. I almost wigged out. I was so blown away. I was like, what? I've held that. I've held that right there. And so David actually has mentioned that he still has this original uniform for Mac. And at that time, he was called Jerry McSafety. This, I do need to, I'm going to reach out to David later, ask him if he has any kind of documentation, any kind of recording of what this sounds like. But here on the back, there is the Jerry McSafety song. I've looked for audio recordings, radio broadcast, film. There's really nothing out there, but I don't know what the tune is. I don't know, but it's very cool. And it's unused. It's an unused stamp. So I was able to acquire that, and that has been an amazing piece. Awesome piece. I love this, and I will cherish this with the rest of my collection. So I hope that was a fun time for everyone. I hope everybody enjoyed seeing the little display of the small collection I'm acquiring for literature, for ventriloquism, and just kind of all the different publications. So we'll call this literary show and tell with an unboxing and surprise. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. This has been Answers with Andy. I'm Caleb, and hope to see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.